This is the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, a fairly powerful little console, and here's why we think it's one of the best dedicated Android gaming options for you out there right now. At this stage, you need to tailor the tape, and while the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is powerful in its own right, it's not the most powerful, and it does actually feature a Unisoc Tiger T618 processor, Mali G52 MC2 graphics, 4GB of RAM, and 128GB of storage that can be expanded with the microSD card, which is actually pretty essential if you do want to play lots of older video games. Before you turn your nose up at the specs, this combination of hardware allows the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus to run smoothly and run many games from systems like the PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, GameCube, and even the PSP without any major hiccup. You can even play some PS2 and Nintendo Wii titles thrown in for good measure, so it is a not bad little specifications list for these specific games. Although in those cases I would say some emulator tweaking may be required and some games are practically unplayable unless you're a sadist. The console comes with a 4.7-inch IPS display which has a 60Hz output, and although better display tech does exist, it still delivers vibrant colours and sharp visuals at a tad over 720p. For classic games consoles, this really isn't a problem, as most run natively at much lower resolutions, and when you upscale them, they look great at 720p. I do wish it would reach a maximum brightness level of above at 450 nits, which is set at, but I think it's solid all the same. There are even rumours that this could be the same panel used by the iPhone 6, which may mean or may explain why it's impressive given the older tech is in use here. You may notice that the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus design has a style reminiscent of a shrunken Switch Lite. It has a sleek, compact form factor, and because of the size and shape of it, it has a comfortable grip as well. It's almost like a Switch Lite Lite, and this design is not only making it easier to hold and play for extended periods, but it also lends a certain charm and retro appeal that I think sets it apart from more utilitarian designs of other Android gaming handhelds out there from bigger brands. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus also has bold colour options which further enhances its distinctiveness. This did enhance its appeal to the retro gaming enthusiast inside me, but it also makes it a statement piece while having one foot in that recent gaming handheld world. It also comes with Android 11 pre-installed, so you can access the Google Play Store and download a wide variety of games and apps just like you would on your smartphone. There is though no physical SIM slot or any identifiable support for eSIM, so Wi-Fi is the only connection method save USB-C here. There's even a micro HDMI port which will let you dock the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus and sync up to your TV, creating what amounts to a mini portable console for classic gaming wherever you are, and I really do love this feature. Retroid also pre-installs its Retroid launcher, which is a launcher on top of Android, and it streamlines and owns the experience when getting into games. It sort of mimics the Switch experience with separate sections for platforms and the ROMs that you do have installed on an SD card or in the local storage if you have enough of that available. The downside here is that you do though need to do a lot of groundwork to get games on your device and each of these platforms working properly. Each individual platform requires a unique emulator and corresponding BIOS file to run. You will get those emulators installed in the setup process, but you will need to find ROMs and those BIOSes, otherwise you're stuck playing Android titles. This process is legally quite murky, so without going into too many details, a quick Google search should provide you with more answers and information and how to get this set up and running. Just a heads up though, for a novice, it can take a few hours to get things running well without issues, but I think it is well worth that time invested. One of my biggest personal gripes is the console's battery life though. It's inconsistent and it may only last a few hours of gameplay, but that will depend heavily upon the type of titles and platforms that you play in, which obviously will use more processing power the more newer the console or the service and platform you're using. Additionally, while I will say Android runs just fine, Retroid isn't great at pushing out updates to this device. It does mean you might be stuck on Android 11 for a while, as I couldn't actually find any information or any solid information on what the update plan is or what updates will be guaranteed. For the most part though, gaming is an absolute joy. If you're of a certain vintage, everything you could ever want to play will be catered for nicely, and the experience is really impressive, again, especially with that controller baked in. It does come with the caveat that based upon your emulator and platform of choices though, the performance will vary from platform to platform. The retro community though is an incredible bunch and has a dedicated Google Sheets dock which gives you optimum settings for thousands of games on all of the platforms that are supported by the device, so head over there for more detailed information. You will find a link to that down in the description description if you do want to peruse that and find out if your favourite games will work well. Because the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is a $150 Android-based gaming device, it's not quite as polished or refined as some of the other handheld gaming consoles that you'll find from bigger brands. The buttons and the joysticks can feel a little bit cheap at times, but I will say that the face buttons and directional pad do feel premium, have really nice satisfying clicks, and all of the buttons, actually all of the face buttons, feel really, really good. It's just the analog sticks that do let it down a little bit. I'll also say that in isolation, the price of the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus can seem a little bit high, especially when you consider that you can get add-ons like the GameSir X2, which I do have, for under $50, and use it with a much more powerful modern Android phone. I will say for most people, this is probably going to be a better option. You get more power under the hood without needing a separate or dedicated gaming handheld. On the other hand though, this could be a bonus because you keep your phone separate from gaming, which can help preserve your battery life and prevent any potential damage to your phone, but also it means you're not taking up tons and tons of storage when you're out and about. So it's worth noting that the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is a dedicated gaming handheld, which means it's specifically designed for gaming purposes, while the GameSir X2 and other accessories do need to be attached and kept with you at all times. So you'll also need to do lots of setup to get a similar experience on your phone, so it kind of outweighs that, with lots of extra storage, as I mentioned, being eaten when you want to have lots of games on your device on the go. There's no real doubt to me that the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus will offer a more immersive and optimized gaming experience than your current phone and an additional gamepad accessory, although you will have certain benefits like maybe a better OLED screen on a newer device. All in all, I think the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus is a great gaming option for retro gaming enthusiasts specifically, who are wanting a somewhat powerful and affordable handheld device which has one foot in the current setup and also has a foot in the past. It isn't without its drawbacks, and you may want to consider other options if you're looking for a more refined and polished experience, I will say that. If you're on a tight budget or you're happy to use your phone for gaming, then just go out and get the GameSir X2. It's just a more affordable option and versatile option if you do have lots of phones and you do have lots of more recent phones. But as a handheld that you can just throw in your pocket or throw in your bag and play lots of classic titles and just forget about it, not use it for anything else, not get distracted by notifications, I really think this is the best option out there right now, and the major reason it comes with me just about everywhere I go. I can't recommend the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus highly enough, especially if you are a retro gamer like me. I want to ask you though, do you have an Android gaming handheld that you swear by? Let me know down in the comment sections below, and I will catch you in the next one.